Shaun the Sheep movie is a 2015 film directed by Mark Burton and Richard Starzak. This is written by Burton and Starzak and also Nick Park. And we have a great voice cast. And I say voice cast, I will talk about that more in a moment. But this includes Justin Fletcher, of course, John Sparks, Omid Djalili, Richard Webber, Kate Harbour. Really great voice cast. And needless to say, this is, of course, an Aardman animation. And there are two things that I don't like about this. One of them is a reasonable thing to not care about. One of them is probably a little bit ridiculous. And the reasonable thing is that there's basically no dialogue in this. And honestly, I found that to be really strange. I think it's okay when a 20-minute Shaun the Sheep episode has no dialogue. I'm not entirely sure how long a Shaun the Sheep episode is, but when it's an hour and a half-ish feature film, it's not something that I particularly like. The other thing, and this is ridiculous, is that I don't like the title. I don't like Shaun the Sheep movie. I feel like it should either be The Shaun the Sheep movie or Shaun the Sheep the movie. I feel like we need the definite article in there somewhere. Otherwise, it sounds like we're calling it Shaun the Sheep movie, which is maybe what they were going for. Kind of need a comma there, but either way, don't like the title at all. But the actual animation for this is so stunning, and the narrative does work quite well. I won't go into too much detail about what happens, but something happens where the farmer and his caravan ends up rolling away towards the big city, and he gets into a bit of a problem, and then Shaun the Sheep decides to go into the big city and a bunch of the other sheep as well. And I love that. I love seeing the sheep in the big city. I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to explore different things that we don't normally get in the countryside environment, and I think they made really great use of that. So the narrative works quite well. They're obviously trying to save the day and save the farmer, and I won't say how they go about doing this, but the narrative is interesting enough. It's not as engaging as I'd like it to be because of the absence of dialogue. We do have, obviously, sounds. The animals do make sounds, but I needed something to listen to, something else to listen to. So I don't know, maybe that's a personal preference. Maybe for younger children or children in general, that might not be an issue. But personally, I need to listen to something. I need something to listen to so that I'm engaged with my ears as well as with my eyes. But oh boy, was I engaged with my eyes, because the animation, unsurprisingly for an Aardman, is just so gorgeous. Everything about this is beautiful. What I love about Aardman with their stop motion is that it's often very clear that they are models, they are little sets, and I think that helps to give it a sense of validity almost, that we're not tricked into thinking it's high-tech CGI when it's actually stop motion. There are stop motion films, some of which I absolutely love, but where you could be convinced it's CGI because everything is so slick and smooth, and that works very well. But with this, there are times when it's a little rough around the edges, but in a way that's so charming, and I absolutely love it, and I just want to play with the set. One of my favourite bits is, or when we see it frequently, are the buses. I don't know why, but I loved the little model buses. I loved watching them move through the streets. I just thought they were fantastic, and I want to hold the bus and play with the bus and look up close to the bus. And we have a lot of storefronts and little set designs and so many characters. The attention to detail is just so fantastic. I don't know how long it took them to make this film, but I imagine it would have taken a while. The detail is fabulous. The movements of the characters, the vehicles, everything is wonderful. The camera angles are great. We get a lot of close-ups to see inside stores and shops and different establishments and things, and I really love that. This is part of the city environment that's just so fun, and every single scene was just so gorgeous. And that's not to say the more countryside based scenes aren't good, because of course they are, but there's just something about this city and the layout and the buildings, the storefronts, the brickwork, everything is just, I could go on and on about how much I absolutely loved this, and I want to play with it. I want to play with the sets. It is absolutely stunning. Maybe it's on display somewhere. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I just Googled it, didn't find anything, but I did find a behind the scenes video on YouTube on the Shaun the Sheep channel, so I'm going to be watching that. And interestingly, in the title, they call it Shaun the Sheep, the movie behind the scenes, because it's just so much more natural than Shaun the Sheep movie. I will stand by that, but thankfully, the title aside and the absence of any real dialogue, it is absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of it because it is just an absolute delight to watch. Looking forward to watching the behind the scenes. And if you haven't seen this and you're a fan of stop motion or indeed of Shaun the Sheep, then I absolutely recommend it.